Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ms.Interpretations. My name is Marin, and this is my virtual campfire. And today we have AJ from Ways to Human. Hello, AJ. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me again. Always super excited.
Very nice. My round of applause. Yeah, this is great. So you have no idea what I'm going to do to you tonight. So sorry about that, but this is going to be fun because we're going to talk about the brain and belief. That is one of the things that I like to do. And who better to talk about the brain with than you, because you love the brain.
I do love brains.
Brains are, what's your t-shirt? Brains are awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole thing says brains are awesome. I wish everybody had one.
Oh, right. Very important part. Yeah.
That, yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so my dad's dog might bark. Eric, I don't know if you can hear him, but maybe he'll make an appearance at some point at the end here. But his name is Banks, and he's a huge Labrador retriever,
Cute.
and he's 12, and he acts like a puppy, so he may
Oh,
bark.
my
So,
mom used to have one.
oh man, this one is just a lovey-dovey. Okay, so tonight we are going to talk about this book by John Wathy called The Illusion of God's Presence. This is the first book in a 2-book series. The second book is called The Phantom God. And I finally finished the first one. I've read some of the second one. And at some point, I may ask him to come on the show, but I wanted to talk about this because I have found it really helpful for me. There was a time where when I was deconverting, I deconstructed, decades ago. But when I was deconverting, I just kind of couldn't understand what was happening at the time, like why I wasn't convinced anymore. And then I couldn't understand why I was convinced for so long. So I don't know if anybody else has kind of felt that way, but that's kind of what's happened to me. So I'll say I'm an atheist, but I'm agnostic, but I love religion. And I love to study religion. I don't necessarily like what religion always does to people, but we're going to talk about that a little bit here. So anyway, hey, everybody. Thanks for coming in. I am going to be managing a book, my notes, and the chat. And I don't know, AJ, can you actually put anybody on the
I
stage?
cannot, but if I see something
Okay.
interesting or question, I'll let you know.
Okay. So maybe I never do this, but I don't want it to cover up you. I guess it is kind of fading a little. I can make it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
yeah, it like cuts right here. So,
Okay. Okay. All right, cool. All right. So I may put that on. And I know, Chip, and religion, I don't like to say that word just because I'm a Southern girl. So
that's funny.
I know it's one of those habits. It's like some people can't let go of hell. I can't always cuss the way I should. But anyway,
Hmm.
oh, I am on Wi-Fi. So if anything happened, I'm actually plugged in, but then I had to turn on Wi-Fi and I forgot to turn it off. So if there's any issues, y'all let me know in the chat, okay? It's good to see everybody. Okay. All right, let's get into this. I want to start a little bit by talking about that the sense of God's presence. So 2 years ago, I did my first real YouTube video. It's called Spirituality and Synesthesia, or Synesthesia and Spirituality. I can't remember. I still keep saying, "Hey, Maya." I keep saying that. What? No. Did I?
It kind of did sound
It
like
does sound
chip.
like it. Sorry.
I I
Kip.
thought it did, but I was like, okay, maybe it's just me.
That's too funny. Okay, sorry about that, Kip. Um, yeah. So, yeah. Alrighty. I will go on. So the issue at the time for me when I did that video was I was still hanging on to my belief in God, even though I really couldn't make the with Christianity work for me anymore. It just there were too many contradictions. The problem of evil. It was just I could, but I still was like, but it's a sense of I really felt God's presence, right? And so I was thinking that maybe some people don't really have that sense. They don't really feel that. And then I was thinking, well, when did the senses kind of cross paths? So that's synesthesia. So, real quickly, for those who might not know, um, that synesthesia is the phenomenon, I couldn't think of the word, the phenomenon of um, two senses working at the same time when they're not really supposed to. So it kind of makes your world a little bit more psychedelic. And for example, all you could have number color synesthesia, where the numbers actually look different colors. So if you see a whole set of numbers, they'll be all rainbow different colors. So 5 is always purple to you. There's a couple of different ways that can manifest. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to that video and see how much I should debunk myself. But anyway, so I was thinking that maybe there's like some type of sensing non-physical reality, right? That maybe that is something that some people can do and some people can't, right? Of course, that doesn't make much sense as far as God is concerned either, because some people just can't believe in God if they don't sense the presence, right? But um, I don't think I got into that part of it.
Okay,
So,
fair.
so I guess that's kind of like my first question. Do you feel like you have ever sensed God's presence?
I think for me, it wasn't necessarily. Well, I don't know if I would say never. I guess I shouldn't say never because there was this instance where it was kind of like one of the very first few times that I went to church. And the reason I was at church was because, like I said, I've mentioned before, the reason I got into religion was when I was pregnant and we found out my baby was going to have a heart condition and a potentially fatal condition, right? Trisomy 13. And so I was going in with the preconception already that these people at the church could heal my baby and, potentially me even, without my health conditions. And
Right.
so the first time that they were like, oh, come up on stage and, where they do like the whole hands over your head and like everybody's like surrounding you literally. I remember very clearly there was like this person with like a gray sort of sweater right in front of me because it was like super close to me and I'm tiny. And then the pastor and like everybody was just around. And I did feel that closeness. And to me it was like this must be what Jesus or God feels like, right? Like entering my body or something, like whatever you
Right.
may want to call it in that moment.
Right.
And so that was like the times where I did feel like it was God.
Mhm.
But then understanding the way the brain works later, you're like, oh, okay, it's all just you're just mirrors running around because there's people around you that care. There's like this sort of expectation that you already had that you are gonna feel something, and so your
Mhm.
body's
Mhm.
like already pre-tuned for feeling that.
Mhm.
And so yeah, now we know it's like it wasn't a supernatural experience, but I do think a lot of people continue on that path, and every time they feel that, they sort of um misinterpret that, right? And they
Yeah.
think that is that because they're not certain about where exactly that is coming from, then it's
Mhm.
automatically assumed that the body fills, I'm sorry, the brain fills in the blanks all the time.
Right. Right.
And so having that sudden feeling of like something rushing all over your body, and it just so happened when somebody touches you, and it just so happens when you're in church and you're supposed to experience this healing, it
Right.
it tracks that your brain is automatically filling that gap and being like, the God with the gaps, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
understand it.
I'm
Those,
so glad I asked you that. I'm so glad that you explained it that way, because there's a lot that we can talk about tonight that might actually explain a little bit more about what that experience was for you.
yeah.
It's a naturalistic explanation that we a possible naturalistic explanation.
Right,
Let's say
yeah.
that. So I have to show this. Oh my gosh. Letter color synesthesia, Aunt Jer. That is so cool.
Oh.
I know, it's amazing. And yeah, I mean, and some people don't really know that they have it until they learn about it, because they just think everybody may see the numbers in a particular color. So, and I'm sorry, I have to say this, Ember, that's pretty funny. You might be.
What does music taste like to you? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty good. Um, yeah, so that experience. Well, one of the things I'm going to read to you a little bit of the characteristics that are
Okay,
common in what people when people describe that they have an experience of God's presence. Okay,
okay.
and so this is collected by all the notes and stuff that I'm reading, and I'll let you know when I'm quoting from John Wathy. But the characteristics of the experience of God's presence include particular features, like it can. It often starts with a sense of distress, need, helplessness. Okay, hopelessness, feeling alone. Um, there's often a sense of guilt, needing forgiveness, or, and then a sense and the presence that is felt is like of a loving, caring, powerful, and forgiving God who understands and who will solve the crisis of the moment. Okay, so that's just like a big picture of what that of common features. So, um, in 1979, Alistair Hardy did a study, and the first 3,000 respondents responded to this question: have you ever been aware of or influenced by a presence or a power, whether you call it God or not, that is different from your everyday self? And so, in the first 3,000 reports of this study, there were like 7 commonalities. The top 7 were um, initiated from within the self, a response from beyond, prayers answered. That's all in one, number one. Um, then a sense of security, a sense of joy, a sense of presence, a sense of certainty, which we'll talk about more, a sense of purpose or new meaning to life as the consequences of the experience, and then that the experience was triggered by despair. So, so that's one of the first features that you talked about with this experience for yourself is, needing healing, right? And being very concerned about your child and about your health and everything too. So that's uh, I miss something. I don't. Oh, okay. It's raining in Canada, so
Oh.
yeah. I was
And
like, I hate this place. I'm like, you hate my channel?
I like
Sorry.
rain though.
It's like squirrel. It's like I said, it's going to be harder for me to point out a chat if you see anything.
Okay.
I'm not paying as attention to it today. So, and thank you guys for being here. Okay, so moving on. So there was also so you, the intense experience that you described is something that people described, but there's also a more common experience that is less dramatic, and that is just this sense of God's abiding, right? That there's something out there, right? That
Mhm.
uh, is kind of uh, yeah. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit too. All right. Do you have a question?
Yeah, well, no, this reminds me of like our last conversation here on your show where we were talking about how um how some people sort of need that maternal or paternal figure, and so that's where if you're feeling really distressed or anxious and you have
Mhm.
a lot going on in your life, and maybe like a pretty severe illness diagnosis, or somebody
Mhm.
just passed away, or something where you're feeling like you don't have control. It's pretty
Right.
easy for people to seek that sort of
Right.
figure that is like gonna take care of everything. Like, I'm gonna make sure that you're good. And the guilt as well, right? Like you feel guilt, and so you're like, okay, if this supernatural being can forgive me, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Like, I
Right.
am forgiven by this
Right.
divine being.
Right. 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 And the reason that I really have enjoyed this book is that there's some explanations as to why that might be, that why people do have a tendency, especially in distress and times of need, um, have that God's presence type of experience. Um, so the the okay, I'm just going to quote that. I didn't put the page number on this one. Oh well. Anyway, Wathy describes this picture of having a religious experience, having a God presence type of experience. It's a fundamental source of belief in a personal God, a deeply emotional sensation that the presence of a loving God and a forgiving being, one who has power to help, protect, or save the believer from harm, and who has an emotional bond with the believer. These feelings tend to be accompanied by a compelling sense of certainty of the existence of this being. So that's like one big sentence that kind of encapsulates his perspective. So so there's a couple of naturalistic ideas that others have put forth. So he kind of he doesn't like cover them completely exhaustively, but I just was going to bring up a couple before we did a little uh well, you had me do some illusions, and this is the illusion of God's presence. So I have a couple of
Of course.
illusions for us to look at. But
Uh,
yeah, so maybe we should go. Okay, so this certainty, right, is the like we have this sense of certainty. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna go through this whole phenomenon of what a naturalistic theory should explain, but I'm gonna focus tonight a little bit on things that were compelling to me about like wanting to study this more, wanting to understand it more, and that is ubiquity, right, of religious belief. That most cultures, most human cultures, have religion, right, and most of, well, not most of them, but many of those religions have that personal God, but that religious belief seems to be a human need, a human thing. So, and then the tenacity of religious belief, which makes it far more resistant to logic than other types of beliefs, right? Or what does it say? Contradictory evidence, right? So that even with like we just kind of brush across some of those contradictions and just prefer not to think about them. At least that's how I spent a lot of my life, right? Um, or I would just, yeah, I tried to until I got so
ignore
exhausted
them. Yeah.
trying to explain them away. So, okay. So, yeah, so folks have talked about uh about I will touch really briefly on some of these anthropological things you may have heard before if you ever listen to some of the debate kind of stuff where Dawkins, our favorite. I never liked him. I didn't like him when other people still liked him. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. Like I didn't like Dawkins when not liking Dawkins wasn't cool. But anyway, but I didn't really, yeah. I don't think he's that great of a biologist myself, but he is a communicator. So anyway, that is me. I'm not a biologist, so what can I say? But that the idea of these memes that are genetically passed on, like social what's it? Do you remember the word? I can't remember the word.
um norms or what are
It's
they?
not like kinda like a
No,
god
not
like.
norms.
Yeah, 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 just the memes, like the, social it's like encapsulated kind of social things, being passed down. I never really I gotta look at it all again.
You're fine.
I don't like him that
No
much, so
worries.
I don't wanna really study that again. But the idea that, almost like a God virus, which is, not Dan Barker, the other fellow, who does Recovering from Religion. What is his name? Daryl Ray.
Oh, the runway. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm, who wrote the guy.
I have that book.
Great book,
Haven't
by the
read
way.
it yet, but it's on my.
I bought it on I listened to it, like, falling asleep, and it was really good, but, anyway, but that is one idea, and then some people James Aylock talks about the belief engine, and that's, like, we have this, like, internal need to attribute cause and effect, even if there is no cause and effect. It's what you were saying before, like, the brain kind of fills in stuff, right? Yeah. So, yeah, Daryl Ray, thank you. Um, so there's that, and then there is this hyper I can't remember who did this one, but hyperactive agency detection, right? The rustling in the bush. It's better if we think that there's like something that can kill us,
Oh,
in
okay. Yeah,
there,
I know what you
right?
mean.
And so because there's so many things that can kill us, because we are very vulnerable to attack. And
All
so,
right.
and also, from other people, which is, and the social species part, this pareidolia is actually connected to this, like seeing faces
Yep.
and all kinds of things and being able to recognize faces and all of that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, okay. Yeah. And that's why, some atheists actually liked him, but the God delusion. All right.
Oh,
Anyway,
wow.
so, um, okay, so the last thing is this idea of reciprocal altruism. So, as society or social groups got larger and larger, it was very hard to keep track of people taking advantage of the system. Right? So if you have a very small clan, if you give some of the food that you've grown to the group, then other people can give to you, and you have this reciprocal altruism that is a very important in to survival in a social species.
Hmm.
Okay. So, but as groups got larger and larger and larger,
It's
it
not
was
as balanced. Yeah.
yeah, and it's very hard to tell if somebody's stealing, right? And so religion can serve that social function of basically you can adhere to this reciprocal altruism, and the way that you prove that is certain types of signaling sacrifices, right? If you're going to church, you're giving up some time. If you're giving of your money, then you're like trying to be a good person. So there's that social thing. Okay. All right. So but what these other little theories don't really address are the feelings. It's that feeling, it's that sense, right, of God, that feeling that God is really there, right? That doesn't have an explanation really until John Wathy kind of came along. So, um, now we're just going to take a little break here because I got to show you this and I got to figure out how to do it. So I think I can do this.
Sounds good.
Share screen, and I can do this. And okay, now, oh, I have to put it on the stage. Yeah, I'm glad I came back. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to turn off the
I
chat here for a
can.
second. And let's see, that's not big enough.
Okay, I might need my other glasses.
It's not the best picture on the planet, but you can kind of get an idea. Did it blow up? No. Actually, I probably should go in presentation mode for this one.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's bigger.
Better. Okay. Okay. All righty. So, this may be familiar to you. If you've I don't know if you've ever seen this, illusion before. Have you ever seen this illusion
Mm,
before? It's
no.
called it's called the Ames room, AMES. An ophthalmologist, I think, created this. These are twins. These are 2 girls who are twins, and,
Huh.
they are in the same room, It's not, it's actually a physical room. And it's interesting how our brains kind of see the windows the same size, but not the people, right?
What?
I know. So, like, what is going on? So, what is going on is angles.
And
The Go ahead.
like
What do you
the
think? What do you see?
floor, well, the floor kind of looked a little tilted, but I don't know if it's just the angle of the camera or if it's actually maybe
Mhm.
like the room goes kind of smaller on one side or something.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I mean, in a way, it has to be something, right? So, this is, this the per yeah, the perspective trickery is intense. This is
Because
kind of crazy.
okay,
Yeah.
because what I see is okay on the girl that looks the tallest. If you look at
Mhm,
the floor, they look
mhm.
like squares. But if you look at the girl that's short, the tiles look like rectangles,
Yeah, they look more
right?
like rectangles, yeah, and the windows are similar in size, but I think it's kind of the left, window is kinda stretched out a little bit. Or
Okay.
skinnier, a little bit skinnier. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the way that I don't have the picture of the room, but basically the room it is at an angle, okay? So, I guess I could do it, like, this way. But, so the young girl that's smaller is further away, and
No.
the ceiling is higher, right? And so the ceiling has to come down because the girl who's closer, her head is close to the ceiling, right? This is a very Alice in Wonderland kind of feeling. But, and they have in particular science museums, they have, rooms like this. There's more than one on the planet, right? Sometimes so if you ever get a chance to go to an exhibit that has an Ames room, definitely go and take pictures because it's probably a really cool experience. So, um, yeah. Uh
Wow.
yeah, so Ember is, I don't know, Kip, you should have done this. This is math stuff, right? This should be your comment, right? Good
Wow.
with good use of the inverse square law, you don't even need much distance between these 2 people. Yeah, actually, I don't think the room is actually quite that wide. I think it is maybe 20 feet. It's not huge. Um, but yeah, this is kinda cool. So that is one thing. Now our brains cannot overcome this. Like,
Nope.
even though I tell you, you cannot force yourself to make this make sense if it's too
No, I
illogical.
can't.
So
To me, like
oh,
the room is like they look like they're standing next to each other, and yeah.
yeah. Alright. I've been told to allow raids, and I'm not sure how to do that. Can somebody tell me how to do that? How do I do that? Is that in YouTube
Um.
Studio, or can I do that here?
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube Studio.
Did I have to do it before I started the stream?
Probably.
You let me know, Titan, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought Mark said that he rated as well.
Yeah,
So
but I don't okay.
so it
So,
should be allowed.
but I don't know, maybe everybody just came over, maybe it wasn't a real it is on. Okay.
Maybe.
Alrighty. Oh,
Maybe he
okay.
told everybody, go over there, and everybody followed the rules.
Alright. Well, if somebody can, like, tell Mark's raid went through. Okay, so I must be turned on. Okay, maybe I did do that. Alright, awesome. Alright, so
Hmm.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the next slide, and we're gonna talk a little bit about this one. So, I'm going to stay on my other page here because there's something I need to do with it.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if you've ever seen this one.
No.
This came out of the book, and, actually John Wathy redrew it, so that's what he means by redrawn by the author. Let's see if I can
I
I'm
can
gonna
see
have
they're like angled, you know.
mhm, mhm. I have to escape a little bit out of this and make it a little bit smaller so that I can oops, get back here. Okay, make it a little smaller. Whoopsie. Love a Mac. Oh, this stupid pad. Okay. I don't have my I don't have my mouse, so this is going to be fun. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the table. Okay, this one here
Okay.
on the left. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight the tabletop
Okay.
as best I
Interesting.
can.
Hey, we're not professionals here. It's
Oh
okay.
yeah, it's just going to be a little bit off, but hey, what do you do? All right, so I'm just gonna, because this is my finger and I don't have a mouse and whatever, but it'll give you the idea. Can everybody see the yellow? Check the chat, make sure everybody can see the yellow. Usually highlighter yellow people can see.
Yeah, it looks pretty clear to me. Let me see if it's
Okay.
in the.
Okay. Now I just went a little bit wide on one side there. Yeah, but I'm just gonna leave that and I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna select it.
Okay.
Now I can select this
Uh-huh.
highlighting. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna take that highlighting and I'm gonna drag it over here to this table. Everybody see? And then I'm gonna turn it.
Whoa. What? Excuse me?
Is that crazy?
What
Is
just
that
happened?
so
That doesn't even look as long as the other one. How's that even possible?
it's
It's like
turned.
that chocolate trick. Have you ever seen it where they have like a chocolate bar and then like they cut like an angle and take it off and then they cut another one and then they take a piece away and put another one back and it looks like a rectangle. It looks exactly like the original.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
you're like, what?
Okay, I gotta look for that. Yeah, it's using do it again, do it again. Okay, I'm gonna do it again
Can you
because
flip it again? Can you
I'm
flip
gonna
it to the other table?
I can flip it again or get oh, oopsie. I have to go
It's
back.
okay.
Yeah, here we go. Okay.
That's so
Oh,
weird.
because I wanna click oh, yeah, I gotta get out of the presentation. I did presentation because,
Oh, right, right. So we can
alright.
see it better. Yeah.
Okay, so alright, so I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna come over here.
No, that's not gonna happen.
Oh, I gotta go to
I
this
think it
one?
was the other way.
Yeah, that
Oh
way.
my god.
Yeah, and then there.
This is
Is that
God.
insane?
Is that you, God?
Oh
What?
my gosh, that's funny. Okay, I'm gonna scoot it over a little bit. Yeah, because I was going off a little bit. Yeah, right?
Wow.
Is that wild? Because
I don't know what's happening right now. Am I still napping? Because I was taking a nap before the show.
oh, no,
Somebody woke me
you're
up
not
now.
napping. If you can give me directions on how to do that, I'll be glad to go over there and do that. I'll interrupt. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to look for it to allow raids unless I go to YouTube Studio, and I don't know if I can fix it here. So, edit video? No, I can't do that. I don't know what I'm doing. If there's directions, Maya, anybody who can tell me what to do, I don't know how to do that. Yeah, so there you go. Is that just crazy? Is that just like fun?
It is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is something else. Okay. So now I could have told you beforehand what this was about, but
Okay.
I mean, it's like it's just so much easier if you can actually see it. Um, yeah. So yeah, my brain because I could be like, these two tabletops are the same size. If you take the one on the left and you turn it, it's going to be the same size as the one on the right.
I know, but like,
I know the width of the left one at the bottom is so narrow, but the
it's
height
too
of the
different.
one on the right is just a link in the chat of a 30-second. How do I lie? Oh, goody! Like I'm gonna watch that.
Jesus.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh dang! I wish I had learned how to do this beforehand. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop sharing that. So I can't. Did we remember what the name of it is? What's the name of that one? It's R.N. Shepherd's Turning Tables. So if you look for Turning Tables
Um,
illusion, then you can do that. Okay, studio. I do have to go to studio settings, community moderation.
yeah, I think sometimes it turns on like for specific people only. Like you can allow from specific channels, but
Maybe
the
it's people
majority of
who are
people, yeah, the
yeah who
majority of
are
people that turn it on for everyone. So
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. All right, y'all. If y'all don't mind holding on here, I'm learning. I'm learning how to do stuff. Okay.
this is a
All right.
learning channel over
Studio
here.
settings,
Huh?
community moderation, middle tab.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you so
still
much,
mind
Amber.
blown on that table thing.
I
I
know,
don't.
right? You may put
My
it back up
brain's
so you
trying
can.
to understand.
I'm gonna let y'all
Cause
look at
like
it again.
I know, cause like if I flip the table instead
Mm-hmm.
of the color, then if I flip the table on the right side, I guess it's on my right side, the one that's not colored, right? If you flip it the way that you're flipping the color, like what? How that it no.
Right. Studio settings,
Ah,
community moderation.
jeez.
Studio settings. Aha, there's the settings. Community moderation. What's the next one? Read it out loud to me so I know where to go.
Middle tab. Middle tab,
User management. Okay.
probably.
Approved user, hidden users, channels I subscribe to. Okay, all channels. Haha. Done.
Maybe.
All right. Tell everybody. It should be right now. Okay, now I gotta find you. Thank you guys for bearing with me while I learn how to YouTube. I'm not a professional. I don't even have 500 subscribers yet. I
Soon.
have yeah, so work on oh, well, if I let people raid here, maybe I'll get them. I have
Right?
487
Yeah.
subscribers. I'm almost there. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
So close.
Yay. Oh, look, end time show. Yay. Okay.
Woo.
All right, so I'm gonna stop that. Now, so even if you know, even if you see it, right? Your brain just sometimes cannot change your belief, right? I mean, even like so the optical stuff that is really like very strong. very very strong. But
Yeah,
why
even the one with the colors, right? I'm sure you remember the gold and white, or what was it, blue and
oh
black
the
dress or
dress.
something, that some
Mhm.
people saw it a certain color and other people saw it another color, and no matter how many times you told them what it actually
Mhm.
was.
Mhm.
I saw gold and white, and apparently it was black
Blue and
and blue
black.
or something.
It's blue and black, yeah. I've been
I
able to
still
see
can't see it.
both. Uh, like, I can, like, force myself sometimes to change back and forth, but I can't on the table thing. I cannot do that, right? So some beliefs are really persistent based on your experience, right?
Right.
And so this question of persistent beliefs, yeah, like why? And so one of the thing I think that Wathi actually addresses very right illusion of God's presence. This one here um, really addresses is that emotional connection, right? That's very, very strong. So now we're going to talk about Mama. Okay, and you mentioned it earlier, but he introduces this idea that infant humans have an innate neural model of primary caregiver. So most of the time throughout all of human history, that is mom, right? Because she's got the food. So I'm just gonna call her mom, okay, or mother. All right. So there's this innate neonatal model of the mother, and there are characteristics of this certainty that a rescue agent is out there, that somebody is out there, they exist, and even in the absence of evidence, there's a real certainty that she's out there. She knows how to meet the infant's needs. She's able to meet those needs. There's a trust that they're able to
Mhm.
to meet the needs. Wants to meet the needs. Will meet those needs if summoned by the infant's cries. And it actually, this model includes knowledge of her attributes, including interpersonal emotions like trusting that she wants to meet my needs
Yeah.
as an infant, right? Now, the key to this is and a little bit of the proof of it is that if we didn't have that those features, that model that we kind of believe is there, we wouldn't cry for help.
Right.
Yeah. And so the fact that we cry. Now they did this really cool little experiment with these mice. Yeah. Which was they had like, the little blind mice, right? Little baby mice are blind. And they can smell mama. And so they took mom away, and then little mouse cries, right? And then they bring mom close and take her away again. And the little baby mice cried more. They cried stronger. So if you think of being any animal, any infant animal, being out in nature, and mom goes to drink water or get whatever, and leaves
Bathroom.
baby there. So that, yeah, goes to the bathroom, right? And doesn't take the infant. Then the infant's like, I cannot survive without mom, so I need to cry. I need mom. And then if mom comes close and they can sense and smell her, and then she goes away again, it's like, no, 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 you missed me. You were almost here. Come back, right? So the intensity gets stronger.
Higher. Yeah. That
So
makes
there's.
sense.
Did I paint my covers? No, no, Kip. That's light. I have pink light on my cover. I did not.
Okay, I was gonna point out the comment, but I wanted to let you finish your thought.
That's okay. I was like, there's a question, a very important one, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is the now. I'm just like skimming the surface of this, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of detail in with the different experiments and different kinds of things that actually kind of support this idea that there is so that the model is huge. That's a big thing. Another point that he makes to address the strong feelings of feeling that presence is the neonatal survival instinct, which I pointed to when I was talking about the crying part, right? Of just knowing that if you cry, that's gonna you can survive. Um, and then let's see, feeling of
Uh,
certainty. Go ahead. I
so
got a
before we
question.
move on to that part, like I was thinking, because this it made me wonder, right? Like whether I don't know if it maybe he points this out on in the book or not. Um, whether children, you've heard of the attachment theory, right?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it makes me wonder whether children with a stronger, more secure attachment to their parents are less religious,
That is a
because they
very
don't
good
have that
question.
need.
That
Yeah.
is a very good question. And there is an entire chapter or a
Oh, good.
section of a chapter on attachment, which is like probably we'll have to just talk about that at another right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Because
yeah.
like this is like, yeah, and it's like what happens if that attachment, that primal relationship is very uncertain, right? The whole point, I mean, the whole idea is with this neonatal model that it helps an infant manage the feelings of uncertainty and knowing they can't survive on their own, right? And
Right.
so then if you have any problems with attachment to your primal caregiver, your primary caregiver, then it leads to all these different types of attachment. We can talk about those different psychological things, but yeah. So there's um, um, one thing that was actually kind of interesting was those who had insecure attachment but were spiritual but not religious, right? That were in
Mm.
that kind of category. Those folks tended to have more addiction problems.
Okay, yeah. That's pretty typical with people
Yeah, yeah,
who don't have a secure attachment. Yeah.
right. So, and some of the with the spiritual and not religious is like it might be some neurodivergence in there that's rejecting
Religion itself. Yeah.
religion, like mainstream religion, but then also having that insecure attachment, trying to feel better. Like addiction to me, I think that it's just people just trying to feel better. you know?
Yeah, well, there's this whole field of study called neurotheology, and they do studies that compare
Mhm,
the brains of people who are highly religious and the brains of people who have addictions, and
mhm,
it pretty much lights up the exact same parts of the brain, like
mhm,
both
mhm.
being highly religious and being, addicted to certain substances
Right,
can light
right.
up, can sort of have the same effect on your brain. And so you need more of that religion, more prayer, more,
Mhm.
of that religious community aspect. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it could explain why they have an insecure attachment, and
Mhm,
but they're not religious, but they're still fulfilling their need for that sort of, what do I call it, that stimulation of that part of the brain that leads to
mhm.
addiction.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. One of my qualifying exam questions in my ethics program was, in the sociology of religion, and we had some of the questions we actually created for ourselves, and the one I created like, anonymous programs, Alcoholics Anonymous, is it a religion? And so I just, like, analyzed the features of programs like that and compared them to, what features of religions are, because it's very hard to define what is a religion, right? So, but yeah, so I think for people that it might be very helpful for are folks who are able to replace the addiction, the substance, with a spiritual, basically, different
Right,
uh,
yeah.
uh, addiction. I mean, it's kind of, but anyway, I think it's kind of fascinating. So, yeah, yeah. So, and more along with the feelings and the triggers, there is this idea of super normal stimuli. So, and
Super
this is
normal.
super
Okay,
normal, like uber
interesting.
normal, right? Stimuli. So basically, the easiest explanation of that is sweets. So out in the bush for tens of thousands of years, we didn't get a lot of fruit all the time, right? And so whenever we did, and we need our vitamin C, we really, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna say this too. Agreed, Mark. I agree. I think this is one of the major flaws in the AA program and other anonymous programs. Um, but the lack of power plays along here, because we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I appreciate that. So this super normal stimuli. So of course, I love chocolate and all kinds of sweets. It's just like in my human nature, right? Like when we have such amazing availability of, actually, of fat as well. So fat and
Mhm.
sweet. So junk food is very addicting because we didn't have a lot of it, right? We didn't have a lot of fat and sweets, but they're very important, right? Because sugar, everything runs on sugar in our,
Yeah.
in our bodies, and then all of our cells have fat layers, right? So we need fat and we need sugar. So it's very easy. So, but the fact that that junk food is bad for you, and there's so much of it and so abundant, that it, like, dopamine hit, and then we crash, and we have more, and we have crash, and we have
Right, and
more,
then you
and
need more of it. Yeah, yeah, that's the
yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah.
For me, it's the crispy food.
Well, and the
That's my
other
downfall.
reason is because it's yummy. But the
Exactly. Yeah,
reason
yeah,
that it's
yeah.
yummy is because it's
Seriously.
a survival thing. Yeah, right? The reason it's yummy is because we need it to live, but, we don't need so much of it. So, we're gonna talk about that too. Now, what's going on here? The final thing about this idea of the, uh, neonatal root of religion. This is one, there's two roots that he has of religion. The neonatal root of religion is this neonatal model, the expectant is going to be there, all of these things. This including the stimuli, it pers- this actually the neonatal model of the mother persists in adulthood into adulthood. Now, it can be dormant, right? But it's in a way what he thinks is that religion hijacks that neonatal model of the mother. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, and how that happens is through we got to get Freudian infantile imagery.
Hmm.
So now infantile has become kind of a pejorative, right? Um, but it's just of infants, right? Things, right, that are that are of infancy. Okay. So okay, I Titan, you have a lot of truth here. I'm just gonna say,
I
right?
was just commenting. I said you're doing all the heavy lifting. Thank you.
I mean, seriously, yeah. Of same. That's why I see you everywhere too. Okay,
Kip
so
asked if
wait.
Titan moderates his chat. I don't know, but if Titan is not moderating your chat, then
Oh,
what are you doing?
why is Titan not moderating my chat? What is going on here? I was just in that section, so now I know how to get there. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life?
Well, you can actually do it on the YouTube,
Oh, I can do it
on
on
the
the
regular
YouTube thing.
YouTube
Yep, he said
if you have
he's
it.
right there. Yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
just click on the three dots and all that shit.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, there you
I
go.
don't know what I do here. Okay, there we go. Okay, now you are. You should be blue now. Titan, do another.
Titan is the king of moderators, so
Oh, he's excellent. And Ember's a wonderful moderator. And somebody else in here. I don't know. Yeah, let me know who else. There we go.
okay, it worked.
All
Cool.
right. Okay.
Okay, so
Anything?
hijacking the model of mother.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we
Yes.
were talking about
So the
in adulthood.
in adulthood, right? Okay. So how does
Interesting.
that happen through this uh infantile imagery? Okay, so let's talk
Oh,
about this.
right. Yeah, that
Okay.
was it. Okay.
So one of the things, and this is what I think it was Titan that mentioned that before about AA, is the helplessness, right? Um, like I forget what the first step is, but anyway, it's like nobody can do anything but God, right? I can't. I don't know. You looking it up for me? What's the first step? Anyway, I don't know. But yeah,
Oh,
it's that
for the
relate.
Dalton.
Yeah, it's a relationship of
Let's see. Um,
emotional dependence.
well, the first one says is honesty. The second one is faith. Third
Oh, no,
one,
no. No, no, no.
surrender.
Yeah, yeah, but that's what they're about, though. Let's say first step AA. What is it? What are the okay, here we go. Oh, come on. It's got a whole big book here. Okay, whatever. Somebody find it. Why is this step 1? Why is it not saying what it we admitted we were powerless. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Yep. So we're
Okay, there you go.
admitting the powerlessness. Yep. 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 Okay. So, yeah. I have something else to do here. Okay. Thank you. Alrighty. Maya, you have a wrench. Thank you. Um, so there's this emotional dependence, there's passivity, um, something that's interesting. So the helplessness of being an infant. Yeah. Um,
Mhm.
but there's also ineffability, nonverbal. Okay. The
Mm.
infant's life is nonverbal, right? And
Yeah.
so really, really strong emotions. Really, really strong emotions can be tied to the nonverbal parts of our brains, right? And so that is why sometimes it's very hard to describe what you're feeling, especially if it's new feelings, right?
Yeah, even children, right? I mean, even adults sometimes have a hard time putting
Mhm.
because they haven't had that practice throughout childhood and they haven't been taught how to communicate what they're feeling or even how to understand or
Mhm.
differentiate their feelings, right? Like sometimes we feel just anger and we don't know that anger can come from jealousy, it can come from frustration, it can come from feeling insulted, right?
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
just call it anger and we're like, oh, I'm angry. But like, why are you
Right.
angry? And
Just
so
a
it's like,
really strong feeling, right?
yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, pain and anger, right, are very connected. The pain of hunger as an infant makes you angry, right? Hangry, right? I don't understand, Ember. I know you have, like, wonderful jokes, and I'm not ineffable, but I often prefer garlic bread. I don't
Um, okay, I
what
think
am I missing?
ineffable. Ineffable is kind of like a play word on effable. I don't know if I can cuss on your channel. The F word.
Oh, but God,
But
yeah.
she's like she prefers garlic bread to effing. I hope I got that right, Ember.
That's too funny. Yeah, you definitely need a garlic bread. Okay, yeah, sometimes if I'm doing multiple things, auditory processing and the autism, I don't understand all the jokes, but, uh,
Yeah, I think it's
I
more
know
like
I'm
an
sure it's
inside joke.
funny if you have to explain. Okay, anyway, alright, so what are other infantile kinds of things? Like, what about an infant experience do you, like, think about the life of an infant? Is there anything that you can think
Um,
of that might also be related to religious experience or,
well,
being in religion?
to me, the crying for sure. You know, like you cry for help, so like that. I guess comparing it to adulthood, I would feel like when you're feeling helpless, you're like
Mhm.
begging, and that might be why people pray. You know,
Well,
like sort of a
yeah. So one of the things this to me was a little bit of a stretch, but maybe people feel like it's something. But when you pray, many times it's like this, right?
yeah.
And it's like even they sometimes people put their hands on their mouth, right? So he related it to suckling. I'm like,
Oh, okay. That's
okay,
yeah.
maybe. Okay. One of them is reaching up to adult to pick you
Uh
up.
huh. Yeah,
And
like
then the
yeah.
praise hands, right? Like in more, evangelical kinds of,
Church.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. So kneeling makes you smaller.
Oh yeah.
You're
Or
right.
even the putting their hands over, for healing, but not necessarily for healing, but it may feel like, like somebody that's kind of like patting you or like giving you some type of physical comfort without being overly,
Yeah.
touchy.
Yeah. Actually, a mother's, the speed. I saw this really cool short on this. There's a scientist woman that I love, and I can't remember her name right now, but the speed is about this much that is actually more comforting than any other type of touch. And it's
So
like mom rubbing your back, right?
that's funny because that was like my baby was when my kid was a baby was really had a lot of trouble falling asleep and stuff, right? Sometimes like night terrors and things like that. And
Mhm.
so one of the things that will calm him down was my rubbing there. Like I will stop like right here and just kind of like
Yeah.
do this,
Right?
and he will just like fall right to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, we've got the chat joining in on, things
Mm-hmm.
that are the
Those are
infant
pretty good.
experience that are related to religious experience. Yeah. Um, speaking in tongues, babbling.
Okay, yeah, yeah, babbling, yeah, because it is, yeah. I mean, I've I've watched quite a few of them, and it's like not really doesn't really make any sense, right?
Yeah,
And it's just
yeah,
grown
yeah.
men like
It's pre
just
it's
babbling.
pre-language, it's not really a language, right? Yeah. So, one thing I thought was fascinating because I was Catholic for a minute, was, communion. and uh, they used to serve in Catholic Church that you actually would open your mouth and the priest would put the wafer
I
in your
remember.
mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. So it's like like
like the
give me my
feeding.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a feeding. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And then the swaying and rocking, right?
Mhm.
Um, whether you're singing or not, right? But also in prayer, right? There's a lot of different types of prayer that um yeah. Oh, I did you babble. It's the best. It's the best. Especially
That's
when
cute.
they get to be when they try and tell you stories, they get to the point where they're trying to tell you stories and it's all
Uh,
babble. It's the best. It's the best.
when
Um,
babies do it is cute. When adults do it,
right.
not so much.
Although I find myself sometimes at loss for words, so I just blah, 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 it comes out like that sometimes. Even singing hymns, he related those to lullabies. That it's
Oh,
the
that's
same
good.
tune
Yeah.
over and over, and often the words are admitting that you are powerless, kind of, and
Right.
that God is great
They're
and all these things. Yeah, yeah. In Christianity, especially, you have to be like an infant to be born again. Yeah, childlike faith. You see how these things are like,
or being born again. Right. That part.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
now you're a child of the Lord, and and
Child of
kind of
God.
like take that father figure on mother father figure. Right?
Right, Father God. Exactly, exactly. I'm gonna put these back up again just in case um, yeah, so that's and that now there's also something that happens in a couple of different things, and that is this role reversal
Hmm.
where you have infant gods. And that is
Interesting.
a couple of things. I'm like, I didn't read that part again really closely, but one of the thoughts that I had about that was to be like us, right? God knows how we feel. If God is an infant, God knows how that feels to feel helpless, and you know what I mean? The human experience, having that human experience is having an infant experience. So there's Jesus, there's Krishna, and a lot of Hindus actually do worship a baby version of Krishna. Um, and then there's a Sufi prayer that he quotes, but it's like uh, God is like a baby in our hearts, kind of thing. It's kind of
Hmm.
fascinating. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. I
So it's
hadn't actually heard that before.
yeah, it's like a role
Interesting.
role reversal kind of thing. Now,
Wow.
the so we have this like very caring mother, right? And so God is a very caring parent, and you can see that if this is an innate type of mm, relationship need model, right? That this can be very strong. And because it is preverbal, it can be very strong. And the feelings of helplessness as an infant, there's infant amnesia. Like there's like a lot of stuff we just don't remember being babies. Now some people say they do. This I don't know. But typically
Well, that's because the part of the brain that sets permanent memories isn't developed until around age 5, but that's the average. It can develop before. So some
and
people can definitely have. I think it's Sydney Davis. She said that she has that condition where she remembers literally every moment of her life
wow.
up to being a baby. So yeah.
Mimetic memory. Is that the same thing? Mimetic memory.
I think it might be against what is it called?
That's what Sheldon called it.
Uh, oh, okay. Um,
Oh, man. So,
I know it has a name. Hold up. It's called
this is funny.
hyperthymesia or highly superior autobiographical memory. That's the more common name.
Yeah. 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 This is fun. I love this. Okay. Um, a all right. So there's a bit about that, but so this is what we've spent most of our time here talking about this neonatal root, right? And that is that caring parent, right? That's going to be there, that can be there, that we feel can, help us, rescue us, all of that. What? This is wild. Mm,
Wow. That is crazy.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
like,
Yeah.
I see pictures of me at that age, and I'm like, who's the person with me?" I don't know,
Uh,
I don't remember any of it, but it's kind of
my earliest memory is, I don't know, I think maybe I was probably like 3, 2 or
mm,
3, I think, and I
yeah.
remember laying in my crib drinking a bottle.
You
And, like,
do?
I remember seeing my mom, like, coming to check on me, I guess.
Oh, that is so cool.
I
That is so
know.
cool. You wanna know what my first memory is? I was probably 4, 'cause we moved when I was 4, and it was pretty close to the time that we moved, but, we were at the first house that I remember, and I remember that house, but I was outside, and my brothers I have 2 older brothers, one's 6 years older, one's 2 years older, and we were playing, it might have been a neighborhood kid there, I don't know, but, we looked up I remember, "Look at the trees." We looked up at the trees. The pine trees were really, really, really tall,
Oh,
and and I think it was my oldest brother who said, "If you fell out of the top of that tree, you'd catch on fire before you hit the ground."
that's funny.
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was so funny. Yeah, I'm
Wow,
like,
that's
"What?"
cute. Yeah,
Anyway,
that's a
alright.
funny thing to remember. Yeah.
It is, isn't that strange? I can't remember if I told him that. I think I told David, my other brother, but I didn't tell Mark that. But anyway, so that's the neonatal root. Now, that's the
I think
caring.
Kip just shared his memory. What
Oh,
does
let
it
me
say?
see. What does he say? 3. Hi, chair. Aw,
Nature.
so
Ah,
cool.
that's cute. Oh no!
Oh, no.
Eli says,
Yeah. Sorry, Eli.
I'm
Aw.
sorry.
That's
Do you hate
traumatic. Of course you
cats?
remember that.
I know.
Yeah, right, Mark? I'm telling you that, 6-year-old physics is not always
I
reliable.
know. I
Oh,
That's cute.
wow. Dang, Amber. Why were you in a 50-foot tree? This is the question I have to
Oh
ask.
no.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Mm.
I mean,
Okay.
I used to climb trees pretty high as a kid. It was all over entertainment,
Not
okay?
that high. I wouldn't.
We didn't have
Yeah.
computers
We
and
could
phones. We had
I know,
trees.
right? Oh, we could tell stories, couldn't we? Um, so
All right, sorry. We're
we
gonna go back.
talked about, like, flipping the script, right? About the infant God kinda thing. But what we haven't talked about is the God the judge, the mean God.
Mm.
Yeah, so we've talked about this personal God, this relationship, this loving out there, right? But then and so many religions have both. So why? And I have an answer, but go ahead, talk to me.
But yeah, no, I was gonna say, was Dave from Captive Desk. We did a show together, and we were talking about the differences between the versions of the Bible, and we read like the one that's like baby lullabies sort of stories that is just like one page, super short. Then there was like the teenage version. Well,
Mhm,
there's probably one in between because that one was very baby. I'm sure there's like a child one. Then there
mhm,
was the teenage version, which was made like a comics book, and then the regular. And
mhm,
so when you compare the same story across all three of them, the very first one, the baby's Bible, is all positive. There's like you almost see no
wow,
negative to it.
wow.
And so I think that's where it lays the foundation of this caring and loving God that that's all about making sure that you're happy and taken care of and that
But we don't wanna
maternal
scare the
figure.
children.
Yeah, but so as you grow, you start learning, oh, okay, well, yeah, sure, he loves you, but then, yeah, also, well,
Yeah,
I didn't tell you this before, but,
right,
Noah's
right.
Ark actually had the children drowned. so, so
Mm,
it's kind of like very interesting, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you were going to talk about the bad, negative,
Yeah, so that is, the neonatal root of religion, that's what we've spent most of the time on, but the Wathy's explanation of the scary god, the the one who
Judgmental.
actually kills infants, right? Instead of becomes one,
Mm,
right? Um, that is what he calls the social root of religion. So
mhm.
you might remember a little while back we talked about as societies got bigger, it was hard to uh, uh, police
Yeah, yeah,
altruism and
yeah.
reciprocal altruism, right? So that so people don't get taken advantage of, people don't steal from people, that kind of thing. And so the social root of religion um, is kind of a replacement system for keeping track of the complex reciprocal altruism that and to know how you know someone is participating in the this um reciprocal altruism, right?
Yeah.
That or indicator of that, it's costly signaling. Yeah, is sometimes how it's talked about, but it's measured or signaled by being a sacrificing your time for doing missions work, or going to church, or doing things for the church, or whatever religious community that you are a part of. So yeah, so that is the that's the main thing. So some religions provide comfort, some demand sacrifice, most require both. So that is the introduction
That is a
to
yeah, no, that is super interesting. I mean, there were some of the aspects that we had talked about, but there's some others that I hadn't quite made the connection, and it totally makes sense why people get so deep into religion that it makes it really, really hard to get out of it because it's like you feel like you're losing your parent, basically.
yeah, yeah, right. And 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 the uncertainty part, right? So it's and not being able to verbalize how that makes you feel, having that uncertainty, right? And I know that a lot of folks that I've talked to, um, who then I've tried to explain a little bit, like, I didn't mean to lose my faith. I didn't mean to, like, it wasn't. I didn't try to do this. I'm just studying religion because I fucking love religion, right? So yeah, I was just trying to figure out, more about it, but also I just couldn't make it make sense anymore. So yeah, I had I lost track of what I was going to say.
It's okay. It
What was I
happens all
talking
the
about?
time. Um,
Oh, when I was talking to people and they say, "Oh, okay, yeah," they ask me about like, how do you have any purpose, or
oh
like that's
yeah,
just got to be so scary, and like, and at first it the feelings wise it was a little bit scary, but actually I feel a lot more like peaceful and calm, you know and then I think some of it is the fact that now I know why my prayers weren't getting answered. Like before, it's like, of course, it's all my fault, right?
yeah,
Right. And that's so much of the religion that I grew up with, right? Like if it's not working, right, then it's your fault. It's something that you're doing or not doing, or all right. And then like what a burden to put on people when they're already feeling helpless, right?
yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It really is. I was talking to a friend earlier, and I mean, I posted this thing on Facebook, right, about how everybody's created perfect in the image of God, and well, how that's the idea, right? And I popped in like all the different conditions that I have, like, because I'm deaf, and when I was blind, I had cornea transplants. I have adrenal insufficiency, type 1 diabetes, a pain condition that's called the okay, I don't think we can say this word on YouTube, but when you take your own life
Mm.
disease. So that's sort of like the nickname for it because it's so painful that people often take their lives over.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
was like, how do you explain that being a perfect creation? And so my friend who's a theist, she's super nice, and she was like, well, like I don't see that the perfection as meaning physical. It just means like your sort of soul is perfect or something like that. When I'm like, no, but that's not how people often
Mm.
explain it, right? Like they will say, no, like God made literally everything physical, anything, right?
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
that's where I have this hard time. For me, that's where I was having that hard time of like reconciling this God that's supposed to be, all powerful and all knowing and all good. And
Right.
then again, this was with my kid, not even with myself. It was my kid in the hospital having had open heart surgery, and I was like, how can this God be like, if if he's all knowing, then he knew this was going to happen and still chose to create my baby that way. If it's all powerful, then that means he
Mhm.
could have prevented it. And if it's a
Mhm.
good, then he wouldn't have wanted his creation to suffer that way. So he can't be all three of them at the same time.
Right.
Um, she didn't reply to that yet, but we'll see. But it's
Yeah.
like that's where like the disconnect for me comes from, and like we were talking about earlier, right? Like most people who grow up in religion from birth, then they have that foundation of like God is all good, and there's nothing that can snap them out of that until they
Mhm.
really 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 look deep down.
Yeah.
um oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, yeah, what Maya was saying, yeah, it
Yeah.
truly is,
So we're
yeah, yeah,
processing it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but I don't know if this helps at all, but this truly, truly has helped me in seeing the description of how strong the 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 need is, and like I was talking about, hijacking the brain's uh, survival mechanism, the infant's survival mechanism for um, continuing to foster their own relationship with their mom or with the primary caregiver, right? In the way that they act, and they expect them to be there, and all of that, all of that. Now
yeah.
this is one. I'm just gonna say real quick. Yes, left-handed Jedi. That is one of the. I think one of the
Oh,
reasons,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And he talks about that as well. Is like trying to figure out, like
yeah.
we were conscious of the fact that we're not going to be here anymore. So that's kind of, yeah. So we can talk about that one next time when we talk about.
Right.
Yeah, with this, I mean, there's so much to this.
Yeah.
But
No, I was gonna say what I was gonna say is that kids are growing adults, and adults are grown up kids.
yes, yeah.
I know that sounded like a riddle.
No, but it's
Kind of was meant to
true.
be.
But it is true. I mean, especially I think what I'm learning more and more as an adult, I mean, we talked a little bit about feelings and that kind of thing, and the focus of this is like why are those feelings so strong, and that sense of presence so so strong. We all are, Prophet. We all are,
I
really.
mean, we are.
Yeah. All genuinely. But, like being able to kind of explain or understand those. And I think as I've grown up a little bit more, I don't know what I'm gonna be when I grow up, but as I grow up, um,
We'll see.
I would like being able to connect the different parts of the brain, right? We talked about like there's the non-language parts, but they're still experiencing stuff, and they're obviously like seeing stuff and hearing stuff, and right, that's not necessarily and interacting with the world, but it's not all frontal lobe, right? It's not all Broca's area for hearing language and also and processing the different parts of the brain, right? Um, uh, so I'm sorry, I can't read the chat right now because I totally lost track. But but there's so much that's going on in our brains, and there's so much that we're taking in through our senses that is not language based. Um, and honestly, we talked about this too. About I think that the brain doesn't really understand time. We don't understand space and time. Like we think about infinite. We
Right.
think about like when I gaze into the night sky and see the right. I don't know if you ever sang that song in choir, but anyway, but like we can't understand how big everything is. And we also necessarily don't always, our brains don't always process time properly. And so we think, oh, this particular situation that I'm in right now, it feels like how I felt when I was 4, and I was getting beat up on the school bus or whatever, and so I think I'm going to die, right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
the brain
That's
is
true.
very, but there's no words in all of that. It's just something's happening. It's very similar, and you think you're going to
It
die.
triggers something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I
yeah.
have this feeling with okay, this was funny, but there's a certain brand of hand sanitizer that just triggers me and takes me right back to being in the hospital with my son's surgery, because we it was 2020 and we were using it so much, right? Like every time we would get out of the room or anything, it was like sanitizer, sanitizer, sanitizer. So it was like the smell, and they used the same brand because it was the same hospital for like
Hmm.
I don't remember 2 weeks or something.
Hmm.
And so like every time I smell it, it just immediately like triggers that sort of anxiety response.
Yeah, well, I mean, smell is like one of the right straight to your memory banks. I mean, that's a input mechanism that is like very, very strong. I have a powder. Uh, e- Everything in my mom's closet smelled like Estee Lauder. Nobody, the old Estee.
Huh?
It's in a blue bottle. That's if you know, you know. Anyway, but everything everything in her closet smells like that, and she didn't even use it much, but anyway, I guess she used it enough that it, like, made everything. Man, I mean, if I smell that smell, I will start crying, right? It's like
Oh, I'm sorry.
because I smelled it so much as an infant on her neck, I think. I think that's
Oh,
part
that's
of that.
true.
So, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of, but those are very strong things. I think this is true. I'm just gonna say, I think that's the tension between the neonatal route and the social route. I think what you're talking about, Titan, right? Because the indoctrination part is to also a survival mechanism for the society part, right? And so it's very strong. Indoctrination can be can be very strong because of that
Yeah, I think he's saying like
dynamic, I think.
the parts of your brain that sort of um are allow you to change your mind easily sort of
Mhm.
get underdeveloped by indoctrination. Maybe I think perhaps that's what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
mean
that's
by that.
true. I would think so. So, yeah, so, like, this is just, like, the basis of this, and then, like, how religion functions and all this. There's, like y'all, this is a really, really amazing book, and if you I highly recommend it, but I think I'm gonna cover more of it because I think it's really fascinating, and it's just kinda
Yeah,
like we'll just kinda do the Cliff's Notes and just kind of, yeah, talk
yeah.
a little
I
bit
would
more.
definitely love to talk more about the part of the attachment theory chapter or whatever that was, like on another episode, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll do
You tell
it.
me
We'll
one.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, and if I have a little more forethought, I can actually give you a couple of heads up, a little bit of heads
Oh,
up.
cool.
Like there's some different parts about the brain that you can bring to it too and help explain a little bit
Awesome.
some of those mechanisms and stuff that kind of puts that together. So yeah, yeah. So what I said for next time is ways religion can hijack the brain's normal functions. And the extreme version of that is high demand cults.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, like sleep deprivation makes the, desperation and the distress
Oh,
worse, that kind of thing.
interesting.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, there's lots of this. Yeah. So, okay, so that's the thing though, right? Those
Oh,
are those songs, smells, and images, that is infant language.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
infant language, right? And so definitely it triggers memories, it triggers, like, really basic kinda stuff, so, yeah. There was one other point I was thinking of making, but is there anything else that kind of hit you that is like anything else you can think of that it's like,
No, yeah, that pre-language thing is just so it's so important though, because that's when we make the most of our brain connections that we're gonna use later in life, right? How we
mhm,
respond to things or react to things. Some people react, don't respond. That's
mhm,
a learned trait, right? We are sort of wired for reacting rather than responding. So you kind of have to learn how to do that. But
mhm,
so as babies, it's like this um this part of our life that happens before we can set memories, before we can understand the world, before we can speak. It's so fascinating because we can't quite tell because the babies can't tell us, but the way we understand it so far is like it's amazing.
right. Well, that may be one reason that inner child work is important, right? Like trying to get back to what the strongest fears and triggers are
For sure.
yeah, uh for your inner child. And I've mentioned this before, but like I'm finally learning that if I have a really strong emotion, that I don't have to push it down, but I don't have to actually express it right away. I'm getting I call it a ditch, like in my frontal lobes, right? I used to have no ditch. Everything would just come like right out, right? But like
Oh yeah.
as I've grown and learned more and understood myself more, like there's a place, but I can go, oh, I'm having really strong feelings and my body, like I feel my skin is on fire and, like my throat hurts for some reason. This is very strange, So like I can observe some of those sensations and go, what's happening, right? There's something that's triggering this, especially with really strong emotions that I don't necessarily have words for. Yeah. And trying to talk about it, sometimes I'm just like, like my brain won't even can't
Yeah,
even
you have
put
to.
the words to it sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to give it some time to process. Um, I've noticed, like for me, generally happens when I'm interacting with somebody else, right? And if somebody
Mhm.
says something that sort of triggers a really strong reaction, I
Right.
try not to respond right away if I'm able to. Obviously, if it's face to face, you kind of have to, but like you
Yeah.
have to learn how to take a deep breath and be like, oh, okay, let me think about it.
Fascinating.
Mm,
It's fascinating. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm Spock. I'm like, I'm having a very strong emotion. Fascinating.
yeah, yeah.
So, okay,
Okay, that's cool.
uh,
I did not know that.
Maya, if you remember the name of it,
Yeah, we'll check it out. That's
if
awesome.
yeah, if you're still here and you could put a link to it too here if you want to, and then we'll be able to find it. That is so cool. Yeah, nice. I'm gonna go look for that.
Yeah, that sounds really cool to watch. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Come on. This is funny. All right. So Andrea said, I wonder what would happen if you conditioned someone to associate unpleasant smells with pleasant memories, which
Mm.
this is a proposal I think maybe only Andrea can think of, but this is kind of quiet, kind of crazy. But then of course the answer is Pavlov's fart monster. That's pretty funny. I'm sorry. It's really kind of funny. Cool. Uh
Let me see. Oh, somebody said,
okay. What is
Theo.
it?
Whoops, sorry.
Oh, oh,
Um,
oh.
okay, Maya's looking for it.
Okay. Yeah, it's that one. The link.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. There's a comment right below mine by theoretically it says I've read of studies of chemotherapy kids were given ice cream as a reward after a session, and it conditioned many to feel sick, even only being presented the
The
ice
ice.
cream later.
Aw, they ruined ice cream for them. Aw,
That's
that's
sad.
sad. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Although, yeah, that's hard. That's yeah. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yay. Okay.
So,
I'm
yeah,
gonna have to copy it
yeah.
uh, so I
Copy that.
don't lose it.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay.
oh, come
Got
on, Titan. Why do you bring that up, man? I saw part of the movie and I had to walk out. I could not take it. Yeah, I can't watch horror movies and stuff, like certain kinds of
Same.
I
Oh, no,
cannot do
I
it.
can't.
I'm very
Mm.
visual, and
Oh,
I can still remember the Monty Python scene where the fat guy blew up because yeah, it's like
and
hard for the older
clowns?
age and oh
No, clowns are the worst.
my
Yeah, I can't do like Titan does ruin everything.
how can you love that movie? What is wrong
Oh,
with you? Okay.
it's
Some people can handle it. I just can't. I just
it's
can't.
funny. I cannot watch gore movies that have like a lot of bloods and stuff, but I can watch medical shows that have blood and stuff.
Same.
Cause,
Well,
cause
my
like
dad's a
I don't know.
doctor, so I grew up watching
Oh,
surgery
that's
on
cool.
TV. Yeah, so
I,
that doesn't. But yeah,
mm.
that's very interesting. Yeah, I
I
do
think
like
it's because I relate the doctor ones with healing, maybe with like making people better, whereas the other ones are like murder.
right. It's one is do no harm and one is do as much harm as you can, right?
Right. I guess so.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to be a doctor as a kid, but yeah, didn't happen. But
Yeah, I thought about it for a minute or two, but I needed sleep. That's why I only have one child.
very
Because
good.
I needed sleep. So,
Yeah,
mm,
I would have probably been a neurosurgeon, but my hands shake a lot. You see, I have a
uh,
tremor from like a brain
mm,
lesion. I have.
wow.
You don't want my hands in your brains. I talk about brains, but I don't
Yeah.
let me touch the
It's
brains.
you could study them. Yeah. Yeah. So, oh, I see you, Ember.
Oh,
I'm picking up where you're putting down. I get it. Yep.
that's funny.
Yep. Yep. So, yeah, well, that's kind of what I have for tonight. Y'all have
Okay,
hung with
cool.
me for a long time. Thank you so much. And AJ, this is really,
I
really
learned so
great.
much.
And oh, I just thought I found it really fascinating. So I thought it would be really kind of good to cover some of it. And there's more. We can do more. So
Love it.
yep.
Yeah, I'm down for
Yep.
it.
Yep. And we're gonna cover more of Kip's book too, right? Kip, you'll
Ooh.
come back. Oh, and the three of us are gonna do something at some point too. Yeah.
Yes, I have that. I am preparing a bunch of shows and have to reach out to people.
Yep. So cool. Well, I appreciate you guys. I really do. And be kind to yourselves. Um, and if you have really, really strong emotions about stuff, um, you know, that's human and it might be nonverbal. So you have to cut yourself a little close personal break if you can't understand why.
Yeah,
And maybe one day you will. So there you go. So everybody just wants to feel better and not
yeah,
die. That's my motto. We're
yeah.
just trying not to die and we want to feel better. So sometimes your brain hijacks you. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I
Pretty good,
agree.
pretty good. I will say.
So yep. Cool. All right. Well, we're gonna be done. I have to find my outro and act like
Good
I
luck.
know a few things about yeah, my intro. I still can't remember my CapCut login and I have Pro and I so it's not as flashy as it's supposed to be, but hopefully by tomorrow I'll figure out how I can log in and access everything I know how to do. It's
One
been too
day.
long. It's been too long since I've edited. See, that's the problem. Yeah. All righty. So come back to my campfire sometime.
Yay.
That'd be great. And everybody, y'all take care. I will see you later. When I do the end stream, does it automatically do my outro for me? People know that. Well,
Sometimes,
if I don't
if
have
it's
an outro.
selected, yes.
Oh yeah, play outro and end stream. It's directions. Follow
Oh, yay.
directions. Bye
Nice.
guys. Take care.
Bye.